Welcome back to the channel and welcome to our 10 reasons you should and shouldn't upgrade from the Canon R5 to the Canon R5 Mark II.
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right, let's get into this. I honestly cannot wait.
Okay, we'll get there, Keith. So I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're aware of the Canon R5 Mark II's announcement ahead of the August 20th estimated delivery date. And you may be in the same boat as me, trying to decide whether or not there are enough new and enhanced features to warrant moving from the R5 to the R5 Mark II.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if all of our viewers are aware of the R5 Mark II's new features, but I'm sure that you are, based on all of the text messages that I got from you each time a new little tidbit came out about this new camera ever since the announcement date.
Yeah, sorry about that, Keith. Luckily, I did get slowed down a little bit texting my dad as well, since, he's a Canon R5 owner as well.
Yeah, no worries. I, just put my phone on silent. So how do you propose that we help our viewers sort this out?
Well, I suggest that we each cover either the 10 reasons to upgrade or not to upgrade. Further, I suggest you cover the reasons not to upgrade because you're often the voice of reason on this channel.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually do pride myself on my ability to not buy things. So I'm going to accept that proposal, and I'll go first, and maybe my list will be so persuasive that you won't even need to do your list of 10 reasons to upgrade.
Well, we'll see about that. And make sure you stick around to the end when we reveal what I decided to do, pre-order or not.
The suspense is going to kill me, but here we go. Here are my 10 reasons not to upgrade. Number 10. They didn't put dual CF Express card slots. Instead, they have one CF Express slot and one SDXC slot. So not having cards that match each other in terms of the speeds will ultimately slow down that camera for redundant recording, since the SDXC can't keep up with the CF Express card. Number 9. The readout speed of the sensor is good, but doesn't match some other competitors. It remains to be seen if the rolling shutter will rear its ugly head and force you to use the mechanical shutter and revert down to 12 FPS. Even though that is still good. But you don't buy this camera, not this one, for 12 frames per second. Number 8. They have incorporated some cool movie modes like 8K 60 and 4K oversampled from 8K, but the devil's in the details when it comes to that stuff. What I mean by that is the 8K 60 is only available in RAW formats, not an H.264 or H.265 mode. So, that's compression. That makes some massive file sizes, since it records at 2600 megabits per second for RAW or 1860 megabits per second at SRAW. So as well, 4K oversampled from the 8K sensor is limited to 30 frames per second. Number 7, new batteries, the LPE6P, as it's affectionately known as. Those new batteries are required for full mode functionality, 8K 60, for example. So although the old batteries will work, they'll physically fit in there, but to leverage the best modes or run the cooling battery grip, you'll likely need to be buying some extra new batteries instead of leveraging any of your old ones. Number 6, eye control autofocus. Yeah, it's cool looking, but you have to regularly calibrate it. For example, if the shooting situation changes, like indoor to outdoor, so you're paying extra for what some would consider a bit of a gimmick. Number 5, the electronic viewfinder remains 5.76 million dots. And, they didn't give the R5 Mark II the 9 million dot EVF that the R1 has. And I know lots of people were looking for an upgrade in that department. Now, I do understand that the new EVF is, it's at least brighter and doesn't black out during high-speed shooting, so that's a plus. But I don't even know why I'm mentioning that, because I'm here to give you reasons not to upgrade. I don't want these positive things in there. Number 4. the LCD screen didn't get tilting to go with the flipping twisting screen, right? So many users love that capability from, Sony, the A9 III camera does that because it combines the best of tilting with the best of the flip out screen. So people, that's a legitimate gripe. I am sure many Canon shooters are going to see this as a real miss. Number 3, they didn't completely eliminate the possibility of overheating, right? It's just a bit better in the cooling, the way it was implemented with the integrated passive and optional active cooling, which is very cool. But, people using the camera primarily for photography probably won't care about this, right? But videographers for sure, especially those doing long format content, they might be uncomfortable rolling the overheating dice, so to speak. Number 2, we're reaching the end here. The active heat management requires a $400 fan grip, and it doesn't have the vertical shooting control buttons on it. So you must choose from 3 grips instead of a full-featured single grip. Oh my gosh. So, if long-form video recording is important to you, that is going to raise the cost of the R5 Mark II by $400. And number 1, speaking of the money, the R5 Mark II is $300 more at launch than the R5 was at $4,299.
Show me the money.
Whew. The R5 is currently selling for $3,000 or $2,999, so about $1,400 less. So is there really enough packed into that new camera to justify $1,400 worth of extra money? Well, I guess we're about to find out if Bruce thinks so, because he is up next with his top 10 reasons why you should upgrade.
Thanks, Keith. Ladies and gentlemen of the viewership, I intend to make the case on why you should upgrade from the R5 to the R5 Mark II using these 10 reasons as follows. Number 10, they finally put an end to the 2959 record limit. Every firmware for the R5 brought thoughts to R5 owners that this would finally be the upgrade, ending the single clip 30-minute video recording limit.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Number 9. They have upgraded the heat dissipation with passive and optional active cooling. The heat pipes internally and vent will better move heat away from the heat-generating components. If you need even more capability, the optional fan grip is pretty cool. Yes, I just said that. Number 8. They have bumped the max frame rate on the R5 from 20 to 30 frames per second using the electronic shutter. They also allow you to configure the top, middle, and bottom frame rates so that you can quickly select your preference in each of those modes. So for example, if you don't want to evaluate 30 frames per second's worth of images, you can lower your max to say 20 frames per second. Number 7. For video shooters, you now have waveforms, false color, and zebras like Canon has on their cinema cameras. These help get exposure and focus locked in. Number 6. Canon has updated the IBIS or in-body stabilization. It now has a claimed 8.5 stops at the center and 7.5 stops towards the edges. So wobble, it appears, is better controlled, if not eliminated. Number 5. For those of you that like to shoot in log, Canon has brought their top C-Log 2 over to the R5 Mark II for full access to the claimed 16 stops of dynamic range. If you don't shoot in log, this has little value to you, but for others, it's a game changer. Number 4. There's a new power switch and dedicated video and photo mode button. I know this might seem like not a big deal, but I can tell you, I've never liked the menu info select mode crap. It's super awkward and something that prevented people new to the camera from knowing how to do something as simple as changing from photos to video and vice versa. I love this change. Number 3, there's a new backside illuminated stacked sensor at the familiar 45 megapixels. This brings faster readout and better dynamic range coupled with the Digic X and Digic Accelerator. It was hard bringing it in at only number 3 because these 3 components are critically important to the performance of this new camera. Number 2, the new video modes and codecs. We now have 8K 60 RAW, 4K 60 SRAW, 4K 120 with sound, 1080 240 with sound, as well as slow-mo modes without sound and the 30 frames per second playback baked into the files. These new video codecs will help make the video easier to edit for everyone that shoots video. Number 1, the incredible new autofocus system upgrade. Take a look at this video from Jared Polin. First, we'll show him using the traditional method of tracking a subject and changing the focus to the person that has the ball in basketball. Now watch as Jared utilizes the action priority focus mode for the basketball sport. Notice, as soon as the ball is passed, the autofocus tracks the ball and acquires focus on the person the ball is being passed to prior to the ball even touching his hands. So if you were trying to get the stills of the shooter setting up, in the first case, you're going to miss that because the person was out of focus. But with the action priority enabled for basketball, you nail it. Action priority is available for soccer, basketball, and volleyball.
Holy crap!
Wow, okay. So these might be some pretty compelling arguments, but as the voice of reason here, I have to ask, how much of this do you really, really need?
Well, I do see your point, Keith. I mean, all the items I listed are great, but, not a single one of them is a need, right? They're really all wants.
Okay then. That's it.
Okay, so at this point, I'm really kind of expecting you to say you decided not to pre-order the R5 Mark II. I think that's a really smart decision on your part. What? I mean, all I need from you, Bruce, is just to tell our viewers that you decided not to pre-order the R5 Mark II. Easy peasy.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm really not going to be able to tell our viewers that.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Oh, man. I knew I was in trouble as soon as I saw that volleyball thing as an option on that action priority feature. I mean, I was like,
Game over, man. It's game over.
that is totally going to get Bruce. That one right there.
Yeah, and to top it all off, I still have bonus items like there's a tally light to tell you when the camera is recording, a full-size HDMI connection, horizon leveling, pre-shot recording of both video and stills are available, and there's a digital hot shoe for up to 4-channel audio recording without cables to the 3.5mm audio input jack.
Yeah, some of those are pretty nice. I'm not sure why you didn't mention them in the top 10. But, hearing about all of these features and knowing which ones were applicable to you, personally, I knew mine was a lost cause.
So, Keith, why don't we summarize things here?
Good idea. So you may or may not value certain features like Bruce does. Now, he's a true hybrid shooter, meaning he likes photography and videography, and he uses them both ways, right? All of his cameras. So there were lots of items for a photographer and videographers to like on this camera, and if you use both significantly like Bruce does, well, you probably can make a strong case for yourself to upgrade, and if you make money with the camera, maybe it's even easier.
I agree, Keith. So I hope we've helped you go through the thought process on your own case and land on the right decision for you.
Absolutely, and maybe you, dear viewer, can share with us the features that you value the most in the comment section down below. And what also is not interesting to you. If you decide one way or another, let us know in the comments below and what was the final decider for you. Now, one super easy decision to make is to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so.
Yeah, and turn on all those notifications. We'll be doing a series of videos once the R5 Mark II is in my hands, so you don't want to miss any of those videos. So for Keith and Bruce, you'll see us on the next episode of Dad's Talk Tech.